You're listening to Grim Dystopian with Fifi Kicks and Benny G, your music podcast for everything metal.
Welcome to episode 5.
This is the Grim Dystopian.
We are super excited. We have our first guest.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Juan Rivera Perez.
That's correct. It is I, Juan Rivera Perez. There's actually 2 more last names, but we're not going to get into the semantics. How about Puerto Ricans and their 97 fucking last names? Sorry, guys. This is the truth.
So, Juan,
Yes.
you're like fam to us.
Appreciate it.
You and Ben go way back.
Oh, man. Now that I think about it, it's literally 21 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that the other day. It was 21 years.
Wow.
So, where and when did like your relationship form?
Like a lot of people in the metal scene here, we actually formed in a bar.
Okay.
And then Cosmic Jam Studio back in the day. I saw with some other people. And yeah, that's where we
With some
met.
other people?
Yeah, with some like it's hazy because I used to drink a lot. And I mean used to.
Oh,
like,
so you don't remember?
yeah, it's hazy.
Did I have a mullet?
That was pre-mullet, actually. That was pre-mullet time. Yeah, and then we all jammed in the Cosmic Jam Studio. And yeah, and then you were actually in one of our bands for a while, too, which was pretty badass. You were a guitarist there. So
A
that
short
was
spell.
Short spell.
What band?
That's correct. It was Agiel back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah. Agiel. Or Anal Gel. Well, I mean, whatever you're into. I mean,
What genre was it? Death?
it was like
Black?
a mixture of black metal, death metal.
Okay.
You had 2 vocalists, and then you had quote unquote Timmy the Missile Young drumming his little Asian ass, little fast guy.
Oh, I
So,
think I remember you telling me about him. Yeah.
that was a long time ago. So he's in California now. God knows what he's doing. Lost
That's cool.
contact with him. So
That's cool.
yeah.
So, what other projects have you done?
I did shortly after that. I did Ebony Sorrow. They're out of Syracuse. They're still together. They are strictly black metal. Good band. Good
They are
folks.
a really good band. We were actually listening to them last night.
Yes.
And we were talking, IMing with John,
John
is what he
Bukowski,
said.
Yeah, he's the man. He's always been a good friend. Always been a good person, especially in the metal scene. Not just in Syracuse, but all over. He's really supportive of a lot of the bands, and that's what's important in the scene, having that kind of energy in those people.
Yeah, so I'm glad you bring that up because, we just started this 5 weeks ago. It was just like an idea sitting on the couch one night, and we were like, fuck it, let's just do it. And the support we have gotten from people in like the metal scene who like look all scary and mean and have all this hair. And if you go to our Facebook page, I can't tell you like how many hearts. They don't like just like stuff. They love it. Like they use like the heart and they like do the emojis with like the heart eyes, and it's just like it makes my heart smile.
Yeah.
Like I've never
That's good.
felt so much love doing this, and it's so weird because we're doing like an underground metal podcast.
Right. And I've been, sadly, I'm sorry, but I've been listening to you guys since day one. And with those hearts, I agree.
You mean 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, that's a long time ago for me, Jesus. But I'm not on Facebook, so I can't give you hearts. But
Yeah,
I can
we
send you
get
the
it.
hearts of my enemies.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I'm trying to be as metal as possible, but I don't have enemies. So, yeah, it's great. And to have that kind of support and that kind of attention and realization that you're not just doing local metal bands here in Rochester, but everywhere you can get your hands on, that's important.
Yeah.
Because we are, as a music scene, no matter where you are, overshadowed by the quote-unquote big names.
Yeah.
We forget the little people
Yeah.
that they stepped on to get up.
Yep.
All we have is each other in the end.
Yep.
We're going to hear 2 Syracuse bands now. The first is the band we were just talking about, Ebony Sorrow, with Prayer.
And then we're going to change it up and play a stoner death metal song by Bong Rips for Jesus. We're going to be listening to Indankification.
this bottle because it's fine, don't change it, right? Me, you give me something sharp to hurt myself with, and I'm fine. If I don't hurt myself at least once a week,
Nate Dogg, are you there? I just have but one question for you, Mr. Nate Dogg. How do I make it into heaven? AA. Smoke weed every day.
And I feel it. Like, you kind of mentioned the metal scene, like back when I'm pointing, like people can see. Ben,
Yep.
when you were back in like the metal scene playing out live, you mentioned that it wasn't quite like how it is today, where like people are supporting each other.
It
and
seems different now.
Yeah.
It really does. It seemed like back then, I mean, we had our friends and stuff, but it seemed like there seems to be more like mutual respect and support.
Promoting, yeah.
Cohesiveness.
But back then, like you had your friends, but you secretly wanted them to fail and you to succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I remember that there was that rivalry energy, so we could play at the penny arcade.
Yeah.
What did he do?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It's much different now. It's a lot different now.
It's different, yeah.
Even like the different genres, and it just doesn't matter. Like the metal scene around here is just very supportive.
Yeah,
it's really awesome.
That's great. And since I've been hanging out with you guys, you actually got me out of my dungeon, and I've been seeing bands around town that I'm like, Jesus, these fucking people, where were they like 10, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
They're
like
amazing.
you really liked Ferris Din when you saw him.
Man,
Like,
I'm in love.
Yeah.
They that CD has not left my car CD player. And if they're listening, fucking Hail Satan. So awesome.
We actually posted 2 of our episodes on YouTube just to expand our audience. And somebody actually commented that they love Ferriston.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
One of my questions for you was actually going to be, what was the last CD you bought? And I would guess that
it was their CD.
That's
actually-
pretty cool.
I talked to the guitarist. I forgot the gentleman's name. He's fairly tall. He's taller than me, and I'm 5'11". He's a pretty tall feller. And he told me a little bit about the band, and I was really excited. And I was like, wow. I was like, you guys really blew me away tonight. You know, that entire show, actually everybody that played, I was like, what the hell? Where? I'm not in Rochester, am I? This is amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody, the energy was hype. You know, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I got drunk. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
So, what about? I think you're missing one band.
Oh yeah. Recently, Abdicate. We just released another album. Time is fleeting for me, so I think it was a few months ago. An album that was in process for a while, and they had some recording hiccups. And I was actually asked, I think, beginning end of summer last year. I apologize. To do the vocals for that. I used to be in Abdicate when we first started. My brother and I, Alex Perez, Lewis, and then Brian Young. We started Abdicate, all of us together. And I faded in and out, and then was doing it for a while. Then I had a bit of a little boo-boo and had to come out of it for a while.
So what happened?
It was 2011. We did an album, and right before the album was released, after we did the recording in Watchman Studios, mad respect to Watchman Studios, by the way. Doug White, that's my dude. A little after that, I was working as a stonemason, and I was attacked on the side of the head. The gentleman that was a subordinate with me hit me in the head with an angle grinder, cracking the right side of my skull. And that beautiful long Fabio hair that I had got wrapped up all over in that. So the body does 2 things: fight or flight, and I passed out. I got hit in the noggin.
Yeah.
So about a month and a half in the hospital, recovering, most of it being medically induced in coma. Came out of it. I was finally released. I was home. I remember Brian Young coming to my house, hanging out, having some coffee, and he's like, hey, do you want to listen to the album? And I'm like, I love metal. Who put out a new album? And he's like, we did. I'm like, what's this we shit, bro? And he pops it in my CD player, and I'm like, what is this? He goes, that's you. And I'm like, I don't remember shit. I had to relearn all my lyrics. I had to relearn everything, and I was in shock. I was hearing that CD, Transcend Through Sacrifice, for the first time, like someone who's never heard it before.
Yeah.
And
That's
especially,
crazy.
like fucking talk about a mind fuck on that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I I left Abdicate after that. A little after I got back into it because I had a seizure caused from the traumatic brain injury. And it sucks because it gave me my license back, and I could have been like driving, chilling, and killed a priest on his way with a kid to church to pray, as they say in Catholicism. BJ's all the same, I guess. And I had a seizure a little while after that, and that pretty much I backed off singing, backed off going to rock concerts. Sorry, I mean metal concerts. I apologize.
Rock and roll.
So, and you're still to this day on medication for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm taking oxycarbazepine. It's supposed to help with seizure medications, or seizures.
All right, no drug promoting on
No, this is 100%.
We better be getting paid.
Doctor prescribed. Yeah.
So, where were you when you had the seizure? And did you only have one?
Yeah, I only had one thing. thank Satan, I guess I would say on a metal podcast. I was actually at my martial arts studio, not my personally, just I'm a student to a martial arts. I've been doing for the last 16 years. That's where I've been not doing metal. I've been doing that more than anything else. I was outside after an event and just outside getting some air, and my friend saw me hit the ground and started convulsing. And it was scary shit for everybody.
Yeah, but
I can imagine.
And it was shortly after that, Brian visited me in the hospital, and we talked, and I said, listen, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'm too concerned for my well-being. But let me tell you something. All I could think about was doing metal. All I could think about was going to shows. And I was just like, you know what? If I get up in this, I'm going to go in the pit, and the wrong dude's not going to know, and it's going to be an accident. I'm going to get hit in the noggin or something.
Yeah.
You know? So better safe than sorry. But as of recently, I started doing metal again.
Good.
Did that Abdicate album, and I have another project in the works, and that is 100% hush hush.
Yep.
But I promise you will enjoy it.
Can't wait to play it.
Oh no, not in this podcast. I'd appreciate it. I'm sure we would totally appreciate it if you guys played it here for everybody to listen. So,
question I have for you, Juan.
Go ahead.
And it's kind of a generic question, but it's one worth asking.
Absolutely.
What was your entry into metal? Like, how did you get into it?
Wow. It was a good friend of mine, Rocco Marchese, best name ever. Not to be confused with the kangaroo off Nickelodeon, by the by.
I'm nodding, by the way, for the listeners.
He is. He said to me, hey, Juan, you like black metal? And I go, black metal? No, man. And I'm not going to lie. My favorite band was Red Hot Chili Peppers growing up, and it still is. Fucking amazing musicians. So he sat me down and he's like, check this out. This is Satyricon. And I was like, Satyra what? And he's like, yeah, this is Nemesis Divina. And I said, what? And he plays it on, and I start to hear it. And then the first thing I hear is, this is Armageddon. And I was like, holy fucking shit. I was like, I fell in love, and I must have listened to that album, I think for the rest of the night. And I just went off and toked a little bit, came back and listened to it again. It was great. And that started it all.
That's a classic.
It is. It's one of my favorite albums.
So,
yes,
Juan, let's hear some Abdicate.
Sure. This next one here is Torment Flesh.
Yeah.
number Juan. Good old death metal. Peter Steele, R.I.P. motherfuckers. Yeah, so that track, our good friend Danny Heimlich Remover from
Wald Hexen.
Those guys. He did the drums. I can't say that name to be honest. He did the drums on the entire album, and fucking, in my opinion, he did a great job. He tore it up. And in that particular song, because Abdicate is predominantly death metal, I decided to throw some black metal vocals in there, because that is where I come from, vocal-wise, you know, black metal. But I'll do death metal. You know, it was my jam to begin with, this Abdicate project. And when I go back, or if somebody asks me to do another death metal project, if I like the music and more importantly, I like the people, I'm gonna give it 100%.
Yep.
You know, I'm not gonna shortchange anyone. You know, and this is gonna be a shocker. I did this entire album for free.
Really?
Yeah, because guess what? I like metal.
Yeah.
Well, he gave me beer, and that was pretty badass of him. He's like the best. But yeah, and then Dan definitely did a fucking killer job on that. Respect, bro.
Yeah. And this is also on Barrett's Severed Records label, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mad love to Barrett. Yeah. Severed Records has been there for Abdicate and so many.
Wake up.
Yeah.
If you're sleeping, wake up, Barrett.
So this is kind of a funny story. We were at Death Fest.
Please. My
And we were
testicle
like,
hurts.
Barrett, let's go to the bar. We'll buy you a beer. Like, let's go chug a beer before we go see the next band. So we're sitting down at this like little table, and one of us had asked him like, "Hey, have you had a chance to listen to any of the podcasts yet?" Because he has shown a lot of love too, like a lot of support and respect for like what we're doing.
Yeah.
So he'll be a future guest, but he's like, yeah, I listened to half of the first one and then I fell asleep, and we just started laughing, right? Because it's like, oh man, what the fuck is that about? And he's like, no, I didn't mean it like that.
There's a good one if he falls asleep again on you. You know, there's an inside joke between Barrett and I. If you just tell him, hey, Juan's got a mesh shirt on, he'll wake right the fuck up.
Yeah, I bet.
Long story with that one. If you guys want to know the story for that one, you got to buy me and Barrett lots of beer.
We can arrange that.
Fuck.
Consciousness, or am I asleep?
song we just heard was by the band Emblem. They're a Canadian heavy metal band. And that track was Dreams at Night. So, we went to M3 at the beginning of May. And
Yes.
we met Chris and Hops.
Yep.
Wanted to say hello to them, give them
Yes.
a shout out. They have a YouTube channel,
Yep.
Hops Metal Show.
And a Facebook
And a
page.
Facebook page,
Hops Metal Show.
Hops Metal Show. And they do heavy metal reactionary videos. Very cool stuff.
Yeah.
Go check it out. Give them some support.
Yep.
They are awesome people.
Yeah, they've shown us a lot of support.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Yep.
And we will be talking to you soon.
Absolutely.
Juan,
The only Juan in the room.
can you tell me a story about boots?
Oh, man. You're talking about... All right, guys. It's not about the fucking cat on the goddamn cartoon. So, long time ago, at the Water Street Music Hall, we got a call. My band, Agio. Mayhem was in town with Hate Eternal, I want to think, if I remember correctly. And one of the bands couldn't make it out there who was going to open for locally. And we were called in. And I'm a huge black metal fan, and more so Mayhem fan. And super pumped about it, you know. And we geared up. We went out there and played the show, opened. For the 13.5 people who supported black metal and Hate Eternal.
Was I the 0.5?
Sadly, yes, because you're short.
Half-grown man.
Well, he tries. I mean, he was standing on 2 beers.
Mulleted 0.5.
Get it. And yeah, we were up there actually with at the time a local guitarist, Jody. Was actually playing for us at the time too. He was playing rhythm, and he was up there, and we jammed out, and Mayhem went on, and I sat there like it was fucking Britney Spears, and I was super happy. And Tim Young said to me, "You know, I really think Hellhammer Feathers is blasting." I was like, "Bro, I don't know." He saw Hellhammer play the first song. He looked at me. He goes, "I'm wrong." I was like, "Yeah, that's Hellhammer." The show wraps up, and Hellhammer's in the green room looking at vegetables and fucking just American food, and he's kind of shaking his head. And I go, "Hellhammer," and he goes, "You're the friend." Yeah. I'm Russian. I'm sorry. I don't know how to do their accent. And he goes, "You want to meet?" He's gonna be Russian, just so you guys know.
All right, that's
You
good.
want to meet the band? I was like, "Yeah." So we go on the bus. I don't even tell any of my bandmates. We go on the bus and walk up the steps, and right there is Maniac. And I'm like, "Oh shit!" Necro Butcher and everybody's there changing, and Hellhammer drops trowel, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna look that way. I'm just gonna sit here and talk with Maniac." He supposedly wasn't supposed to be drinking beer at the time. Totally handed me a beer. So we're drinking, we're talking a little bit, and then he says to me, he's like, "Those boots, those 5-buckle boots go all the way to your knees." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "What size are you?" I go, 12. Yes, ladies, that's an indication. And he goes, "I'm 11 and a half. I'm like, "Yeah." I'm thinking to myself, what is he getting at? And his boots were a little past his calf, and they were flames on the tip of the boots. And he goes, "Do you want to switch boots?" And I'm like, I hear a knock on the
You're like,
door.
those little things?
Yeah, well, at the same time, I was like 19. I spent fucking $235 for these pairs of boots, so that's like I could buy a Cadillac.
And you peeled
back
your glove
then.
off and slapped him across the face with it.
I declare this wall. Yeah, and there was a knock on the door, and my bandmates were looking for me, and I left and shook Maniac's hand and Hellhammer's hand, and he had draws on, thank God. And I left, and till this day regret not switching boots with Maniac.
So we kind of touched on this a couple times about like our local metal scene and the support and
Yeah.
love that we feel we all have for each other. I recently asked one of my non-metal head friends to check out our podcast, and the reaction I got was, "Yeah, it's cool and disturbing." And I just kind of left it at that.
Yeah.
I didn't say much.
You weren't
Right.
flattered?
I wasn't, because I knew kind of where it was coming from, right?
Right.
And at first I was like kind of mad, and then I got kind of sad because I saw the exact moment where there was like a divide in lack of understanding for an outlet and creativity that people find passion and really an outlet for. So there's 3 of us sitting around a table, and we don't fit into a neat box,
No.
right? None of us do.
Absolutely not.
You know, we, like, our music doesn't fit in a neat box. Our outlets don't fit in a neat box. Like, nothing about us fits into a neat box. Like, our, you know, the books we decide to read, just, we don't like one genre. We don't, like, do you have trouble relating to people?
I like Havoc the Wolf Dog.
Because I feel like sometimes when I don't fit into a neat little box, like I feel like I'm supposed to, that I have trouble relating, and it can be very isolating.
That is like everyone listening to this is nodding their head, going, "Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, that's me. And people who knew Juan Perez 18 years ago, you know, Benny remembers me back in the day. I'm scared that he might have done things to me that night. Right? My dying bride. Long black hair, piercings all in the face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wore pleather pants,
Yeah,
and boots that you know, I would never buy today because it's so goddamn expensive. You know, I was me, and I'm still me today, with no hair, and a beard, and piercings still, and tattoos, and the community I hang out with now is mostly my martial arts community.
Yeah.
And no one there, none of them is a single metalhead. They go, yeah, I listen to heavy stuff. You know, I was on the radio the other day, and I listen to 989. And I'm like, oh my God, somebody fucking just run me over with a car right now. And, but at the same time, on the same token, I'm like, cool, you know, it's your thing, I get it. And they're like, what do you listen to? What do you do? And I play some music, and they go, oh.
yeah. So I think Ben and I can totally relate to that. We have,
Absolutely.
yeah, we have people coming over to the house, like, and they hear our playlist and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Right. Mhm.
So
some are more polite than others.
Yeah, some tolerate it and sit through it quietly. So speaking of, let's play another song.
Let's play it.
So this is an Israeli band, and I am so sorry because I'm probably going to butcher it, but I'm going to do the best I can with the name of the band. Black Satchbach? I don't know.
We're just dumb Americans. We don't know.
Yeah. But we love the song, and the song is called Marx Was Right.
West of Market, flashes, take cover, use it to test, sell up, use it,
Yeah, man.
What do you think of the Hollow Earth theory? Just kidding. Not my question.
I was gonna run because I'm like, bro, I quit high school to do fucking metal, so okay. What?
No, so I know everyone has their regrets in life.
Oh man, yeah.
What would your biggest regret be musically?
Yeah, so you guys listening and are A, not going to believe it, or 17 telling me to go suck a dick. But I went to see Spawn of Possession. At the time, they were on Unique Leader record label out of California with a good friend of mine, Christoph Piper. And we drove out there with a few friends, and I got to see Spawn of Possession, and I was blown the fuck away. And musically, I was blown away. Because I'm like, this guy is playing the guitar with these notes that I don't understand, but I know that they're super hard riffs.
Notes.
Man, listen, it was like before he went on stage, he like stuck it in the side of Virgin's like vagina, stabbed her, took her soul, left it on his fucking fretboard and played, and just like didn't even think about it. And I'm like, whoa, like they're so intense, you know. And they had this vocalist that I said, my sister, who's 17 years old, could beat this guy up. Like, this is not a death metal vocalist. And then I realized that Dennis was, obviously, he's the drummer and the vocalist for some of the albums that I've heard. I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. I enjoyed it. I sat at the bar. I was drinking with Dennis, and Dennis recognized me from AGO. And he said, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I came to see you guys. He said, no, what are you doing musically? And I said to him, I was like, well, nothing. AGO disbanded. Everybody went their separate ways, and I'm just kind of working the night shift at a grocery store, getting fucked up every day. And he goes, I'd really like you to be in Spawn of Possession. And my heart dropped, man. Like, seriously. You know, people you look up to ask you questions like that, you're like,
yeah,
that's intense.
Yep.
And I didn't know what to say to him. He said, I'm going to give you my information. He goes, I'll bring you to wherever, I don't know where they're from, I apologize. And he goes, we'll set you up with a job at a factory, and we can start training right away. You can stay at my place. And I'm like, and I let that go. But at the time, I realize it now as 38 years old. I look back and I was like, listen, I was 21 years old. And if I took that opportunity when I was 21 years old, I probably would have got more involved in drinking and doing all sorts of shit, especially in another country where they don't speak the language.
Yeah.
It is adaptable. The mind can figure that out. The bodies are amazing and the brains are amazing. But I probably would have fell into a bad hole.
Yeah.
Especially in the loneliness and everything. And every motherfucker that's listening right now, they're like, I don't get lonely. Fuck you. You miss your mom all the time. You know? So everybody gets lonely, you know? So besides that, I decided to not contact him. And yeah, Benny, that is a thing that I carry with me. I was like, shit, man. You know, death metal's not my thing, 100%.
Yeah.
But those guys are fucking sick.
Yeah, they are.
So sick.
Yeah.
Anybody who says otherwise should jump off a fucking building. FYI.
That's a great story.
Kind of. I cried a little. Nobody can see that though.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us.
Of course, man. Of course.
Juan, it was wonderful having you on.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Thank you for being our first guest.
Fantastic guest. Yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I really hope. I really don't hope anything. I don't give a shit. I was going to say something sentimental and thoughtful, but I realized that I'm too drunk.
We don't do that on a mic.
Perfect.
This has nothing to do with anything, but one thing I really appreciate. Well, there's many things about you, but one thing
He's talking about
that
my cock.
recently I learned about you is that you're a huge metal fan, and I think you're the only person ever that likes metal that does not like any era of Metallica.
That is 100% correct. I don't like anything.
I've never heard
about
that before.
Metallica.
There's like
I haven't either.
that's so odd.
Like, I feel like everyone feels like they have to like Metallica.
Right.
Nah, I'm okay. Thanks. No, I'm okay. Yeah, no. They could do their thing. I just don't give a shit.
Cool.
Well, that's cool that you're just you.
Yeah. Love it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mrs. Kicks. You're the best.
And thank you for being on.
Yeah. And one more thing, guys. This grim dystopian podcast was brought to you by the circa 1095 crusade, where so many have lost their lives to the Lord Jesus Christ.
You're going to have to cut this out, but can you hear him okay? Is he a little low?
A little at times, but I think it'll be all right.
Okay.
I apologize.
It's all right.
Ow, I just bit my tongue. They listen to the song.
Hungry much?
This sucks.
This is all staying in.
This
no
sucks.
fucking editing.
Love it. Love it.
This is awful.
I mean, you don't have to. I have a small penis. Just saying.
Got it.
Damn it. They're recording. Technology.